Hey, welcome back and thanks for watching Precision Rifle Network. My name is Justin and today we're going to talk about dialing for wind. As you guys may have seen in previous videos, I shoot the Leupold Mark V and started using the DI Precision wind cap wind turret that they started putting out, and really enjoyed it and made me want to just try dialing wind, and I've become a little more comfortable with it. So today we're going to kind of talk through when I dial for wind. Some people dial for wind a lot more frequently than I do. Some people only hold for wind, but we're going to dig into that today. But like I said, I'm going to kind of just walk through this video with you. But that DI Precision wind turret has been really nice over the factory turret that comes on the Mark V. So I've enjoyed using that. Another thing that I've enjoyed using that some of you may not be familiar with is a target. It's called the Wind Prometheus. It's just a wind target, and some ranges have it. Our range here in Little Rock at Twisted Barrel has 2 or 3 of them, and these targets have allowed me to just make better wind calls. They've allowed me to practice my wind calls, and so I can go out to the range. I can shoot this target, and each increment, each little keyboard or whatever little slide, the little metal bracket is 0.1 mils wide. So being able to use that target is really cool. You'll see here this target, and I can call my wind call and then test that wind call on this target. It's at 500 yards, and you'll see in this video right here what that looks like. So I was about a 1/10 off, and then I corrected that, but first correction was just a little bit under what it probably needed to be. So you'll see this shot, I held just under a 1/10 and basically hit really close to that first shot. So then I went back, holding wind here, I held a little bit further to get my correct wind call, which was about 0.15. So one of the things I like to do when I'm dialing wind is try it on troop lines. Test out your wind calls, dial that wind as you move out the troop line, adding a 1/10 here and there, but always watching your impacts, watching your misses. As you saw there, I missed off the left edge, so added a little wind back into it, and then I was back on target. But you'll see here, just walking that out. This is one of the ways that I dial for wind, or I guess one of the situations I like to dial for wind is on troop lines, just trying to stay centered up and at least as close to center as I can as you walk that troop line out. So these 2 shots at 900, I did the same wind call as I did at 700, and it seemed to be working out. When we go out to 1,000, I gave it another 1/10 of wind. So notice these shots were just a tad low. This is some new brass, so my velocity's going off just a little bit. So after that second shot, I went over to that truing bar. First shot was a little low, as I suspected, so held just almost a 1/10 above that and centered up. So now I had my elevation. I could true my velocity if I wanted to. So this is another part of the range I moved to. So we have another 500-yard wind target.
Let's try it again. So it looks like it was 2/10 right. So I'm going to take 2/10 out. Try again, aim for that blue dot. So at 500 yards, my wind call would be 2/10. So first car, I dialed in my wind, what I think my wind call is going to be. So let's take a shot at that first car. The head target on the left side of the first car. I'm just going to hold center. Impact. We'll go second target, first car. Impact. Third target, first car, on the right side. Impact. So now I'm going to go to, I notice I keep, every time I catch it, I'll throw it back in the chamber. Go to the second target. This one is a little bit further out. I'm going to add another 1/10 of wind. So second target, 4-door car, left side, hold center. Impact. Middle target. Impact. And third target on the back tail end of that second car. Impact on the left edge. So then I'm going to dial in my last car. I think I may only have 3 rounds left, but left target on the gray car. Impact. And the second back window, second target. Impact. And I'm going to go to the target on the hood. I think I just went off right on that one. Gave it
So yeah, so you can see here when you have targets at multiple distances, it can be much quicker to find center if you're dialed to center. So maybe a way to dial wind to keep you on target, especially on smaller targets, it's much more precise to dial wind. So those are 2 situations I like to dial wind when I'm walking it out of a troop line. As you see in these videos, sometimes it's nice to dial wind to center, especially if those targets get small. And on the smaller targets, you may face those a lot with those KYL racks. So oftentimes I will dial as well on KYL racks. So I like to dial for the smaller targets that keep me on center and working those troop lines out when you know there's going to be variations in the wind. Just to try to keep you as close to center, keep your impacts as close to the target as possible. Even though you may miss and may need to make adjustments, you may want to dial that, you may want to hold that, and that's kind of personal preference. Sometimes I do a mixture of both, but the other time that I would say I definitely like to dial wind is on the moving target stages. If you can figure out what your wind is and at least dial it as close to that as possible, your hold is going to be nearly the same on both sides, and that's what you want to be consistent, to try to get your lead or your hold in front of that target to be what mine is like 1.5. So I want it to be 1.5 on the left side coming and 1.5 on the right side when it's coming. So in order to do that, you have to dial your wind in so you're zeroed on your wind. So here's a video kind of showing you what that looks like with the mover. So I shoot this the Prometheus target over here by the mover just to get my wind call. I know you can't always do that in a match, but generally through a match you will have a pretty good idea after a few stages or after a few shooters on what that wind call is or what's really close to it. But here I'm just getting my wind call off of that Prometheus target and then dialing it in so I can hold for the mover. So I should be able to hold 1.5 on both sides. And you'll see here, if I've got my wind dialed in correctly, that hold will be the same.
Both sides of the target, so I'm going to do 1.5 for center. You do always want to dial your wind for your movers.
So I hope you enjoyed that video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Even if you didn't enjoy it, you're still welcome to like and subscribe to the channel. But I hope that gave you an idea on what it's like dialing wind, when to dial wind, when to hold. Really, it's a personal preference when it comes down to it. I have shot with guys that are much better shooters than me that dial a lot more wind than I do, and I've shot with guys that are much better shooters that hold a lot more than I do. But to each their own. Like I said, play with it, practice, use that wind dial and get comfortable with it, and see if that's something that may help you put more shots on target and help you score higher points in your next match. But for me, these situations that are in this video, those troop lines, the smaller targets, and the moving targets, those are when I contemplate when to use my wind dial, or when to dial that wind in and when to hold. I will say that dialing usually always takes more time than holding. Not always, but a lot of times I find myself spending more time on the clock and burning that clock up if I'm dialing wind. But the trade-off is you do tend to have more precise shots, more accurate shots, and can put those shots closer to center than if you were holding. But just keep that in mind. Get out in the range, test it out for yourself, and see what you think. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.